We are completing our 8th weekend, and today is our 16th class. And our topic today is advanced mindfulness meditation practices. So, how are these advanced mindful meditation practices deeper than the standard meditation practices that we looked at during our 10th quantum class? Because in our 10th quantum class, we saw the difference between mindfulness and meditation. Then we went further and looked at the specific models of mindfulness practices, which are mindfulness eating, mindful walk, mindful shower, mindful listening. And we also looked at the meditation practices that include loving kindness, inner smile meditation, qigong, and tai chi. And after that, we explored the quantum inspired mindfulness models like quantum jumping, entering the void or 0 point field. And then we looked at the quantum inspired meditation practices that include heart-brain coherence. This is the quantum signal, and quantum healing hypnosis. So how deep are these advanced mindfulness and meditation practices than the standard practices that we looked at in our 10th class? So advanced mindfulness is a significant deepening of practice, moving from managing daily stress to fundamentally altering how we perceive ourselves and reality. While standard mindfulness builds the muscle of attention, advanced mindfulness practices use that muscle to deconstruct mental habits. So standard mindfulness primarily focuses on stress reaction and stress reduction and emotional regulation and being present to avoid the monkey mind. Advanced practices of mindfulness, however, on the other hand, they aim for profound meditative endpoints such as radical shifts in consciousness, self-liberation, and deep spiritual insights. Looking at the levels of mental processing, standard mindfulness focuses on the surface awareness as we notice thoughts as they occur and returning to a focus like the breath. But still looking at levels of mental processing, advanced mindfulness, on the other hand, employs metacognition awareness as we develop the art of thinking about thinking, where we observe the very pattern and source of our thoughts without being stuck in them. And advanced mindfulness then utilizes deconstruction to break down how our thoughts and emotion construct our sense of reality and our sense of self. So looking at the biological and experiential depth, with advanced mindfulness, there is a neurological master where a practitioner shows significance, less activity in the default mode network. The default mode network is a center in the brain for mind wandering, even when we are at rest. So deep states may involve shallow, rapid breathing and a sense of consciousness pulling into a single point or energetic tingling sensations. Standard mindfulness practice, on the other hand, often feels like a task we do, for 10 to 20 minutes that requires effort. But for advanced mindfulness, life becomes the state of awareness maintained throughout the daily activity without requiring constant focus. And this is a shift into effortless action because standard mindfulness creates a temporary state of calm. However, advanced mindfulness practice aims to turn these into permanent traits, into ways of existing, into trademarks, into ways of being in the world. And standard mindfulness has a narrow focus where we focus on a specific particle, on a specific breath, or a specific thought or sensation. So in standard mindfulness, we are training the muscle of attention, and in advanced mindfulness, we have an open focus where we focus on nothing and on the space between thoughts and the distance between our ears or the vastness of the room. And we train a sense of energy rather than training ourselves to focus on matter and to focus on the particle. So this is how deep advanced mindfulness practice is from standard mindfulness practice. So let us now look at meditation. How deeper is advanced meditation practice from standard meditation practice? Are you ready to go through this? So advanced meditation is often described as the deep end of the mental pool, moving beyond the standard goals of stress management to achieve radical shifts in consciousness and permanent changes in personality. This means that advanced meditation practice aims for meditative endpoints such as enlightenment, such as awakening, such as self-transcendence, and total mental transformation of our thoughts and emotions. So while standard meditation focuses on calming the mind and stress reduction and improving focus and emotional regulation in daily life, advanced meditation aims for meditative endpoints such as deep insights, ecstatic bliss states, and profound psychological transformation, and dissolving of the separate sense of self, and radical shifts in how we experience our reality. So while beginners struggle with the monkey mind, advanced practitioners of meditation often experience choiceless awareness where focus is maintained without conscious effort. And advanced meditators show reduced mind wandering due to less activity in the default mode network. And I will explain this much later. As the brain region responsible for self-referential thought quietens down. So advanced practitioners transition through stages of depth from learnings to stay with an object, the breath, for longer periods. Then they move to stabilization and to create where the gap between the observer and the object of meditation collapsing, leading to a sense of non-duality, that emptiness, that nothingness, that 0 point, and finally to deep states that trigger biological shifts, including shallow, rapid breathing, pulling sensations of consciousness, and intense feelings of internal energy or joy. How does the default mode network and mindfulness correlate? The default mode network is a brain network active during restful moments, during internal thoughts, during daydreaming, during mind wandering, during self-reflection or thinking about others, when we are not focused on the outside world or a specific task, during introspection rest, or when we are recalling memories or thinking about the future, or when we are in the shower. We get insights in the shower because it is a low stress, solitary, and moderately engaging activity that allows the brain to enter a creative default mode of thinking where our thoughts are on the task at hand. This is what default mind network means. But there is a swift to this. Because during default mode network, where our thoughts are on the task at hand, where we are having free-flowing, spontaneous thoughts during a moderately engaging activity, there can be a twist. Because when people enter zones or states of deep mindfulness or meditation, or profound presence, or awe, or near-death experience, the DMN that was active during the shower quietens down and something shocking appears. That sense of being a separate self collapses, and we sense ourselves as one with everything. So standard meditation provides a temporary state of calm during the session. And in advanced stages of meditation, the practitioner is no longer seeing meditation as a scheduled task, but instead sees life itself as becoming a meditation, with the practitioner maintaining a consistent flow of awareness throughout their day. How is that possible? Because our natural state is meditation. And I want us to listen to this very carefully. We are not a separate self trying to reach meditation. We are already in meditation and always have been. When we sit still, we forget we are temporary. We forget we are limited. We forget we are finite. We don't have to try to meditate. Meditation is the nature of our mind. Without the belief in being temporary, without the belief in being limited, without the belief in being finite, forgetting what we are and what we are doing, we enter meditation. We are in meditation all the time, and we are doing it naturally but unconsciously. We are going there without knowing that we are going there. And once we understand meditation, the idea of doing meditation becomes redundant. The nature of our mind is meditation. Meditation is who we already are. We are already meditating. We are not separate from meditation. We are not a separate self pulling away from meditation, pulling away from peace, or pulling away from happiness, or wholeness, or completeness, or healing. There is an inner experience happening, and there is someone experiencing. And when we are at this stage of experiencing, we've got to go beyond it because the witness is still within duality, not yet into that no self stage. We have to see that the I that is experiencing is not different from the is that is being experienced. So our natural state is meditation. Now let us look at the examples of mindfulness practices. Then we'll also get to look at the examples of meditation, advanced meditation practices. So the first example of an advanced mindfulness practice is concentrated gazing, where we fix the gaze on a single point, like a candle flame, for extreme mental clarity. It's an advanced mindfulness practice because by shifting the eyes, by fixing the eye on a single external point, like a candle flame, you eventually blind the brain to other environmental stimuli. Listen to this very well. And this leads to sensory withdrawal, which is a core stage in advanced yoga that standard mindfulness rarely reaches. So this practice was popularized in the 19th century by Indian yogi Ramalinga Swamikar, and his teachings advocated the use of a lamp flame to represent the eternal power. Another example of advanced mindfulness practice is compassion cultivation training. And this is designed to rewire emotional responses to suffering. Moving beyond wishing well to others, this involves radiating unconditional love towards difficult people, or even towards all sentient beings, simultaneously maintaining this intense emotional state for long periods. So compassionate cultivation training was developed in 2009 at Stanford University by Dr. Thupten Jimpa, a former Tibetan monk, and enhanced by contributions from his colleagues and researchers, including neuroscientists, psychologists, and contemplative scholars, to strengthen the natural human capacity for empathy, compassion, and kindness towards oneself and others. So combining mindfulness and psychology and compassion meditation, compassion cultivation training aims to reduce stress and improve emotional regulation and foster resilience against burnout. And this is how the practice can be done. The practice of compassion, cultivation, training. And it begins with preparation for 1 minute, where you find a comfortable place to sit. You can sit in your chair with your feet flat on the floor or cross-legged on a cushion. Then keep your spine straight but relaxed, letting your shoulders drop. Then, as you settle in, close your eyes or lower your gaze and take 3 deep cleansing breaths. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling with a sigh to release tension. Then, after this preparation for 1 minute, you go into centering and mindfulness for 2 minutes. And here we are focusing on the breath. So you notice the natural rhythm of your breathing. And you feel the air going into your nostrils. And the gentle rise and fall of your chest and belly. Then you anchor your mind. If your mind wanders to thoughts or to your to-do list, simply acknowledge the thought and gently return to your focus of the sensations of breathing. And when you have done that for 2 minutes, then you go into the self-compassion practice for 3 minutes. And here you acknowledge yourself. You bring your mind to a recent difficulty or stress you have been facing. And then you notice where you feel this stress in your body. Is it a tight chest or is it a clenched jaw? And then you silently repeat these phrases to yourself, letting the meaning sink in. May I be safe. May I be peaceful. May I be kind to myself. May I accept myself just as I am. You have done that self-compassion for 3 minutes. Now you move on to compassion for a loved one for 2 minutes. So here you visualize the person who is going to benefit from your compassion. Bring to mind someone that is easy for you to love. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could even be a pet, or your cow, or your goat. Feel that connection. Picture that significant other smiling and see a golden light extending from your heart to their heart. And then extend the wish, silently offer them the same phrases. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. May you live with ease. After you have finished the compassion for a loved one for 2 minutes, then you move into common humanity for 1 minute. So you extend your circle of compassion. Now you can visualize a neutral person like a neighbor or a store clerk or a butcher, seller, and recognize the bond. And know that like you, he or she wants to be happy and they have known their own struggles. So briefly wish for them to be free of pain and to find peace. And as you close this meditation, this mindfulness, for 1 minute, you return to the breath and you let go of the visualization, you let go of the phrases, and you rest in the warmth and kindness created by that compassionate exercise. Then dedicate the positive energies to help you be more patient, be more kind in the rest of your day. And when you finish, you slowly wriggle your fingers and toes. And when you are ready, you open your eyes and take the sense of compassion with you throughout your day. So the third advanced mindfulness practice, which is closest to my heart, is lucid dreaming. And that means carrying mindfulness from the waking state into a dream state. And the practitioner becomes lucid. To become lucid means to be aware that you are dreaming. And then the practitioner uses the dream environment to practice advanced mental gymnastics or stabilize awareness. You can be in the dream, and in the dream, you are directing your own healing. You are directing your limiting beliefs to change. So mindful falling asleep is maintaining a continuous thread of witnessing your awareness as the body transitions from wakefulness into sleep. And it is a holistic approach that integrates Western mindfulness techniques with Tibetan Buddhism tradition of dream yoga. And it was co-created by lucid dreaming teacher Charlie Morley and mindfulness pioneer Rob Nairn in 2008. And the practice of lucid dreaming involves training your mind to recognize when it is in a dream state, and primarily through daytime habits and specific pre-step techniques. So before we go to those techniques, let's first understand what lucid dreaming is. A lucid dream is any dream where you are actively aware of the fact that you are dreaming as the dream is happening. So you are still sound asleep, but in the dream you realize, this is a dream. Has it ever happened to you? And the body is asleep in bed, but you are inside your mind and you are exploring this three-dimensional hallucination of your physical psychology. And there are times when we might get a nightmare. So in a nightmare, when we have a thought and we want to wake up, that is actually a lucid dream. Because the moment we acknowledge that I want to wake up from this nightmare, we are indirectly acknowledging that we were dreaming. So if you were in a nightmare and you realized it is a nightmare and you have that feeling of having to wake up, then don't wake up. Because every time you wake up from a nightmare, the nightmare has to reoccur because it's like a therapy session that has been cut short. So lucid dreaming is often described as a hybrid state of consciousness, where the conscious mind and the unconscious minds beneath communicate and overlap. And in this state, the waking self awareness engages directly with the unconscious realm that normally generates dream content. And we can talk to our subconscious mind and instruct it and address the dream characters or the dream environment itself. You can be in a dream and you are being chased by some animal, but you say, no, I'm going to stop. And this animal has to listen to me. So since the unconscious generates all dream dialogue and the surroundings, any interaction within the dream is a form of internal communication. And lucidity allows us to bring waking intentions like solving a problem or facing a fear into the unconscious space. You might be fearing the next presentation you are going to give, or you might be fearing the next workshop you are going to facilitate. And when you dream, you are in front of an audience and you are giving a presentation, and your subconscious mind is telling you that you can never give a good presentation. This is the time while you are lucid in dreaming to instruct your subconscious mind that you can make it, and then see yourself going onto that audience during the dream and see yourself giving a presentation that is going to be incredible. This is how lucid dreaming happens. Now, the fourth advanced mindfulness technique is self-inquiry. And this was popularized in its modern form by the Indian sage Ramana Maharishi in 1896. And it is an analytical practice. We repeatedly ask, who am I? In an advanced mindfulness context, self-inquiry is less about finding a verbal answer and is more about using intention like a U-turn. It's about a direct investigation to see if there is a permanent self behind the changing thoughts and feelings that we experience. While standard mindfulness watches the objects of mind, like the breath and sound and thoughts, self-inquiry, which is an advanced mindfulness practice, turns the light of awareness back onto the subject, the one who is aware. For example, before inquiring, you must be in a stable state of mindfulness. You settle into the present moment and you observe your thoughts passing by like clouds. And then you realized that you realize that you are not those thoughts, that you are the one noticing them. Then you can introduce the primary question. Once you are stable, you gently drop a question into the quiet mind. And you can ask yourself, to whom do these thoughts arise? Or simply, who am I? And the goal is this. Do not answer with your name or with your job or with your history. Those are just more thoughts when you answer with your name, your job, and history. So you are looking for the source of the I thought. So advanced mindfulness involves feeling a sense of I-ness in the body. When you say I, where does that feeling reside? Is it in the head? Is it in the chest? And the inquiry focuses intensely on that feeling of the I and where it resides. And follow that feeling back to its origin. As you trace the I back to you, is it more in your head or is it more in your heart? And we encourage a silent, empty, yet vibrant space when we recognize ourselves as that void, as that nothingness, as that emptiness, as that non-dual self. So instead of grasping for a new thought, you rest in that emptiness. And this is the state of awareness, aware of itself. Now let us look at examples of advanced mindfulness practices. And the first one is non-dual awareness. And non-dual awareness is the realization of not two or a lack of separation between subject and object. And it is an ancient concept with roots in multiple traditions, primarily originating in India between 800 before Christ and 500 before Christ, and shifting focus from the objects of meditation, such as breath and sounds, to the silent watcher, or to awareness itself, becoming the seer rather than just seeing. So unlike temporary meditative states, this non-dual practice aim is to step into a state of transition where you get into that no self state. So non-dual awareness is the ultimate advanced meditation practice. While it is often described as the peak of mindfulness, it is fundamentally different because it seeks to collapse the very foundation upon which standard mindfulness is built. So it is advanced meditation due to dissolving the observer. In standard mindfulness, there is a subject, you, observing the object, your breath and your thoughts. But in non-dual meditation, this boundary between you, the observer, and the thoughts that you are observing dissolves. And when that happens, you move from I am watching the clouds to being the sky itself in which the clouds appear. Another advanced meditation practice is Tonglen. And Tonglen is a Tibetan meaning for giving and taking. And it is a compassion-based meditation practice from Tibetan Buddhism that was first introduced in Tibet in the 11th century. And it is an advanced compassion practice involving breathing in the suffering of others and breathing out compassion. And you can visualize dark or heavy energy of others or self that is suffering. You breathe it all in, and then you transform it into light through your heart center and you breathe out compassion into the universe. Another meditation practice that is advanced is Vipassana. Vipassana is insight meditation, and it is one of India's most ancient meditation techniques, originally rediscovered and taught by Gautama Buddha over 2005 years ago. And it is a deep investigation of our mental and material phenomena to understand the nature of reality, the nature of impermanence, and the nature of the self. Another advanced meditation practice is pineal gland activation. Another one is Kundalini meditation, and the other is open focus training, and the other is coherent meditation or heart-brain entrainment. And another is non-local connection entanglement practice. And the other one is the space between exercise or field awareness or gap technique. And the other one is the future memory, that timeline synthesis, collapsing the timeline into the future version of yourself that you would want. And the last one is the non-sleep deep rest. So all these meditation practices that are advanced are in the notes that are going to be sent to you. So as we conclude this presentation, let us look at the energy-based interventions for emotional healing. Energy-based interventions for emotional healing are a diverse group of therapies that work with the body's subtle energy systems, such as meridians, chakras, and the biofield. Those 9 systems that... As we end our presentation today, let us look at the energy-based interventions for emotional healing. Energy-based interventions for emotional healing are a diverse group of therapies that work with the body's subtle energy systems, the 9 systems we looked at in our former classes, those meridians, chakras, and the biofield, to mention a few, to resolve emotional distress and trauma. And they combine somatic body-based techniques with cognitive interventions to shift the flow of information through the human bioenergy system. And they recognize the intricate connection between the body's energy systems and emotional well-being. Why are we bringing energy healing interventions for emotional healing under advanced therapies, where we looked at advanced cognitive restructuring? It is because we are putting together cognitive interventions with energy healing for emotional healing. And the first technique is emotional freedom technique, or EFT tapping. And this one was developed by Gary Craig in 1993, and it is described as an acupuncture without needles. And it involves tapping on specific meridian points or acupoints while focusing on negative emotions or traumatic experiences to desensitize the emotional response. And the 9 main meridian points are considered as energy hotspots that correspond to internal organs and help restore balance to the body's energy systems. And the sequence follows a specific structure designed to tune the brain into a problem and then desensitize the emotional response. The top of the head, the eyebrow, the side of the eye, under the eye, under the chin, under the nose, under the chin, then the collarbone, and under the arm, and then at the side of the hand. So you gently tap with 2 fingers about 5 to 7 times on each of those points in order. And while you are tapping, you repeat a reminder phrase 3 times. Even though I feel this anxiety in my chest, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I feel this anxiety in my chest, I deeply and completely accept myself. And you do that for all the points. Another energy healing technique is Reiki. And the other energy technique is Chinese acupuncture. And the other is Chinese Qigong and Tai Chi. And the last one is holotrophic breathwork by Stanislav Grof and Christina Grof in 1976. And this involves conscious breathing to release emotional blockages and promote energy flow. All these techniques are in your notes that you are going to be given. So as we end this presentation today, as we end this presentation today, the question I leave with you is, what insights are you getting on how to work with your clients using advanced mindfulness and advanced meditation practices and advanced energy healing practices? Thank you so much for listening. Have a blessed evening. Thank you, and thank you.